Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are back with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links action, and as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are here with Water XYZ. Yes, that is right. A deck that is currently not on the tier list, but has been performing extremely well and has been tier 1 in the past, and quite frankly, probably should still continue to be tiered. I still think it's really good in the current meta. It stops things like Fire King, if you have a problem with Fire King. It stops things like Blue Eyes. It can stop some of the plays of Harpies, depending on how they're playing. It can also stop just about anything because it has really good disruption. So, real quick, let's talk about the skill first in our quick little rundown. Basically, if you control only water monsters, or sorry, not if you control, if you have only water monsters in your deck and extra deck, you can change the level of all water monsters you control to 4. So, and it can be used twice per duel. So, normally that will allow you to use things like Deep Sea Diva or Atlantean Heavy Infantry, which both have conditions to add or summon more monsters onto the field. It will allow you to go into things like Abyss Dweller with them, or Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark. Anyway, so that's the main condition, is Abyss Dweller and Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark. This guy in particular is more so used to get over big hitters like Blue Eyes, etc., etc., whereas this guy is more for a disruption on your opponent's turn. I'll explain that in a second, but first let's do the card by card. First we have Deep Sea Diva. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon a level 3 or lower Sea Serpent monster from the deck. Basically, you can go into either Marksman or Heavy Infantry, both of which are good options. You could also technically go into Attack Squad if need be, or you could even go into another Deep Sea Diva. Pretty interesting. Then we have Buzzsaw Shark. It's basically just another way to get into level 4s, and it doesn't require Territory of the Shark, because what it does is it will target itself to special summon a Silent Angler from the deck, and that's basically all you need to know. Silent Angler can special summon itself from the hand if you control another water-type monster. Really good. Marksman is very similar to Heavy Infantry, but we're going to go over Marksman first. Atlantean Marksman, if it inflicts battle damage, you can special summon another one of these guys, either the Heavy Infantry or the Attack Squad from the deck. Or, if it is sent to the graveyard to activate the effect of a water-type monster, including detaching as a material, you can destroy a set card. Target it, destroy it. Really good. Monsters or spells or traps, just any set card, target it, destroy it. Really good. Then we have Heavy Infantry. Heavy Infantry, during your main phase, you can normal summon a Sea Serpent type monster in addition to your normal summon or set, which means you could normal summon a Deep Sea Diva in addition to normal summoning this, meaning you could go Deep Sea Diva, or you could go Heavy Infantry into Deep Sea Diva into summoning in a Marksman, and then all of a sudden you've got Heavy Infantry and Diva attached to an Abyss Dweller, or you could have the Atlantean Marksman and a Heavy Infantry attached to an Abyss Dweller, and then you've got a bunch of disruption. So really, really strong little combo there. Also, if you were to, very similar, if you were to activate an effect of a water-type monster by sending this to the graveyard, you know, by detaching it as a material, you can target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. A face-up card, sorry. Face-up card. So, if there's a monster that you have a problem with, you can detach your, from the Abyss Dweller at quick play speed, pop a card, okay? Atlantean Attack Squad gains 800. It's just a big body. That's mostly it, and it can be special summoned off of Marksman. That's why you're playing 1. It allows for OTKs a little bit easier after disrupting your opponent's plays. Now we have Book of Moon and Treacherous Trap Hole. Both of these can be switched out for basically anything else, and realistically you don't need the Herald of the Abyss, but it does come up occasionally where you will need it in certain matchups, okay? Then we have Forbidden Lance. This card is basically necessary. Reason being is it protects your expensive cards, right? The cards that take a long time to make or take a lot of resources to make. And it just protects them, right? You can protect them in the battle phase, you can protect them during your opponent's turn. You can protect them with a whole bunch. So it's really useful to have. This is a core card to the deck. I don't want to say that it is, but it really is. So there's that. Now on to the extra deck. First of all, if you'll notice, Deep Sea Diva is a tuner. You can't see that. But Deep Sea Diva, it's got this little green thing. It's a tuner. I keep forgetting that my face cam is right around this area. Right down here. Yep. Keep forgetting that. Anyway, so we're also playing some synchro monsters because we don't really have enough XZs solely to really work them in. So instead we're playing things like Bryonic, White Aura Dolphin, Crystron Amatrix as well for the synchro package, right? You could go Diva into Atlantean Marksman to get the Crystron. You could go Diva, summon a Silent Angler, and then all of a sudden you can go into a Bryonic or a White Aura Dolphin, and then still have something else there to be normal summoned. So, there's that. Now, Abyss Dweller is a key card for this strategy because what it does is you can detach its material at any time to prevent the cards in the graveyard from activating their effects. They just don't activate. It's not a negate, so you can't like chain it to something and expect them to not be able to activate their effect. No, it's just they don't get activated. It's not a negate. So do keep that in mind. You got to use it preemptively. However, the most important thing is that you can use it at any time to detach something like Heavy Infantry or Marksman to destroy a card your opponent controls. Really, really useful. That's the main reason Abyss Dweller is used so heavily. The second card that is important is Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark. You can play multiples of this. I really don't think you need to. I've only ever needed one. And what it does is it basically decreases the attack of an opponent's monsters if it attacks. If anything attacks. It decreases their attack by 1,000. Also, if it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target one monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So, you could summon back your Marksman, you could summon back, an Atlantean Attack Squad, you could summon a Deep Sea Diva, or, anything, right? You could even summon back an Abyss Dweller if you need to. So, there's that. And then Nightmare Shark just to get in some cheeky extra damage if you need to. It's most of the time not going to be summoned because it does require level 3s, and honestly, there aren't a whole lot of level 3s that you can utilize. But it's still, I like it. You could probably run the extra number 37, or you could run Shark Drake, or, a myriad of other things. Anyway, let's hop into some replays and show you how this deck works. So here we are up against Seto Kaiba. I said, if you want to play a good deck against Blue Eyes, this is the deck, and you'll see it right here. We're going first, so we end up doing something pretty interesting. First of all, we're going to go for Heavy Infantry into Marksman. Now, I did mention previously that you could go Heavy Infantry into normal summoning a Deep Sea Diva and then getting Deep Sea Diva's effect. The reason I didn't do that is because Deep Sea Diva is really good at follow-up, right? It allows you to get 2 more monsters onto the field to go into another Abyss Dweller. So if they are able to deal with your board, then you have a follow-up. You have a crackback, right? And that's the important thing. We also have a Lance, so there's that, which is pretty nice. So we're going to set the Lance. We have the Abyss Dweller with the Marksman and the Atlantean Heavy Infantry. So if there's a threat on the field face up, we can deal with it. If there's a threat on the field face down, we can deal with it. During the main phase, we're going to immediately pop this Blue Eyes White Dragon so that he doesn't get to go into a Synchro. Synchros are scary, right? Level 9s are scary. So I immediately wanted to deal with that. So we ended up doing that. We got rid of the Blue Eyes White Dragon, and he wasn't able to activate the effect of his White Stone of Ancients due to Abyss Dweller's effect. So we're going to then, right after drawing, we're going to fire off this Abyss Dweller again to pop with Marksman's effect. However, he's going to chain that Karmika, and instead of lancing, we're just going to let it go. Reason being, I'd rather keep the Lance around for a different Abyss Dweller. This guy basically useless at this point. So instead, we're going to go for the Atlantean Heavy Infantry and Deep Sea Diva effect that I was talking about. We're going to put the 2 Heavy Infantries down first, and then we are going to attack him with this Deep Sea Diva into the Maiden. Maiden, you can summon up, that's fine, but we're going to attack, and we're going to get rid of the Maiden. Then, during his turn, we're going to immediately pop that Blue Eyes before he can even activate anything else, or attack, or swing in, or anything, so that he doesn't even get the chance to get the White Stone of Ancients activated and get a Blue Eyes in hand. He's got all 3 of his Blue Eyes in the grave at this point, so it's really difficult for him. He needs that White Stone of Ancients to go off, and he drew a Sage, goes for the Sage, and we're just going to swing in, deal a ton of damage. We know for a fact that last card in hand, what it is, and we are just going to, again, in the draw phase, prevent him from activating. We don't want him to get any Blue Eyes in hand or anything like that, so we're just going to activate it. He's going to go for the Karma Cut. Guess what? It doesn't matter. We drew a Lance off the top as well, which is kind of funny, and so we're just going to activate that, and then we have exact lethal, even with the Lance, we had exact lethal. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, as you can see, it totally shuts down Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes just cannot play. And the fact that this deck is still running around, I think, is one of the reasons why Blue Eyes isn't the top deck. This deck used to just absolutely get demolished and couldn't play against Dark Lords, and that was the big issue. But now that Dark Lords are gone and out of the meta, they can play the game. And yeah, you can see exactly what it does to Blue Eyes. They don't get to play the game either. And here we are up against Crow Hogan. Kind of interesting. You don't normally see this guy. But this time we get to go second, which means we're going to be playing into Disruption. But as you can see, drawing Lance is really helpful. This is why you want multiple Lance. So this guy is playing Thunder Dragons. He kind of bricked, but hey, that's what happens. He did end up getting a ton of cards into the grave. However, our card actually doesn't do much against Thunder Dragons. Thunder Dragons activate when they are banished or when they leave the field. So, if they were to activate in the grave from leaving the field, yes, we would be able to negate or prevent them from actually activating their effect. But most of the time, they're going to activate their effect when they're banished. So, it is a little bit more of an issue, especially since there are so many good cards in the grave right now. However, we're still going to do our normal play with the Deep Sea Diva and go into Abyss Dweller with the attached heavy infantry. Anyway, we set 3 cards. He drew, didn't end up getting anything, so we're going to summon this Buzzsaw Shark. The Buzzsaw Shark is then going to summon up the Silent Angler, and then we are going to quickly go into the Hope Woven. We're going to deal 22 because he did have the Sphere Karibo in hand. He's going to draw, he's going to Lightning Vortex, and guess what? We have not 1, but 2 Lances to protect our cards, which is really good, and there he goes. He scoops it up. He realizes he didn't have any other plays. He was just hoping to clear the field so that he wasn't dead the next turn, but we did end up having both Forbidden Lances. And to be fair, I think just 1 would have been enough, especially since Spider Shark could literally recur its, one of its materials, and then all of a sudden it's not really that big of a deal. But we ended up keeping both of them on the field, and yeah, there you go. Anyway, real quick, let's talk about this deck. First of all, this used to be a tier 1 deck, and the main reason that it was a tier 1 deck was due to the meta. Things like Fire King, things like Thunder Dragon, things like, more specifically, Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes being as prevalent as it was insanely popular, and when you can prevent them from playing the game, like, at all, it was super useful. However, now, previously, the reason it fell off of the tier list was due to Dark Lords. Then Harpies showed up, and Dark Lords got hit, so they're like, hey, Water XZ, maybe they can come back. Yeah, Water XZ is going to be great. They're going to be tier 1 again. Then it didn't happen, mostly due to the fact that Harpies kind of destroys it as well. Harpies don't really care about your disruption, because if you activate a spell or trap, they're just going to return, and quite frankly, they could just return most of the time with this lady, Cyber/Harpy lady, right? Plus, they also play a ton of disruption, so it's hard for you to even get onto Abyss Dweller or onto Hope Dragon, right? That is the biggest issue. However, against basically every other deck, it has a pretty good matchup. The biggest issue is truly Harpies. And a little bit Thunder Dragons, but less so. Anyway, I still think it's a good deck. I really do think that it should be considered at least tier 3, if not tier 2. It does a lot against specifically some of the other top tier decks. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much so appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links action, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.